All right, so Riss Oliver asks, as a follow-up to my lower resolution question about the place of disagreeable people in the church. Oh yeah, last month. That was last month. What is the center that we might defend given the diverse history of Christian interpretation? Would you propose we join church only to attempt to argue with everyone and St. Christopher style flip the church's foundational assumption from the inside? By which I mean any heretical to a scientific naturalism, fundamentalism, mostly. I think I speak for other disagreeable people in asserting that I don't defend defunct institutions. Okay. Wow. All right. I would definitely say that don't do that. Like, really, don't do that. It's really, really not, would not be helpful for you to do that. If you join a church, if you convert, if you're chrismated, if you're baptized, if you join a church, the first thing you need to do is shut up and listen. That's the first thing you need to do. I'm not saying turn off I'm not saying turn off your brain. I'm not saying turn off your critical ability. None of that. But the first thing you need to do is just shut up and learn to play the game before you start to criticize the rules. Learn to play the game, learn what this is all about, find your place in the community. And then I know you're going to hate me for saying this, but then after several years, then you can start to have influence in that community. And hopefully by then you will have gained the wisdom to have influence in that community in a manner that will be helpful to that community. And when I say helpful to that community, I don't mean in helping people become scientific naturalists. That's not what I mean. How can I say this? Okay, I know this might be hard for some people to think to understand, but this stuff that I'm talking about, this symbolism stuff, I never talk about this with anybody. I don't talk about this. I talk about this with you guys. I put these on YouTube for people who are interested in discovering this, and I figure the subject is difficult enough, and it's strange enough, and it's kind of obtuse enough that only people who are really interested in this will even have the capacity to pay attention and watch my videos. But if I go to church and I meet the little old lady, who's there, who I don't know, came from Russia 5 years ago, I have no interest in questioning her assumptions at all, because those things, they in everyday life, they don't matter. What really matters is how we are with each other. What really matters is how we're able to engage in the life and be transformed as people, and transform others, not in the sense of transforming the way they think, first of all, but transforming each other in the way we act towards each other and the way that we engage with each other. Now, once you're there for several years, and once you're there for a long time in that church, you will have deciphered the people in the parish, in your actual church, who have the interest and the capacity to talk about symbolism, who have the interest and the capacity to understand things at a more deeper level, and to go further. And then you can engage those people in discussion, and you can hash it out with them as much as you want. But it's really, really okay for the little old lady and for most people in churches to not have a intellectually deep understanding of this stuff. They don't have to. They need to understand it to the extent that it changes their life, and to the extent that it helps them get closer to other people in their community, and makes them want to pray and want to engage in the spiritual life. But that's what matters, guys. All right, Rich says, sorry if it's a hard question. I like getting my money's worth. Like I said, don't turn off your brain. If you do go to a church, don't turn off your brain. And you might go to a church and be in that church and realize that you just can't do it. You can't. There are some churches that exist around me. There are some churches that I've been to in my life that I could never go there ever. I couldn't. I can respect the people. I can admire their faith. I can admire the way that they take care of the poor, that they help each other. But I just couldn't. And one of the reasons why I go to an Orthodox church is because the effect that single individuals can have on the very shape of the church is rather limited. The way that the liturgy lays itself out, the art, the architecture, the history, the tradition is so strong that there's very little that some idiotic pastor who doesn't understand anything could do to change that. And you do get priests that are horrible, horrible priests, monstrous priests that are idiots, that are stupid, that have bad intentions, that are subversive. All of that exists in the Orthodox Church, but the capacity they have to affect the actual functioning of the parish is limited because of the tradition.